Have you ever been hit by a personal crisis? I mean, the kind that just completely dismantles your old self and you realize you need, I don't know, not just help, but a map, a guide to build something stronger from the ruins.
Well, today we are diving deep into a piece of art that claims to be exactly that kind of map.
We're looking at the concept album Thunder in Her Bones, a journey through fire, storms, and the fierce rebirth of the self by an artist called TATANKA.
And it is ambitious. It's positioning itself as a kind of modern myth for self-reclamation, all built around this idea of transforming pain, not just getting through it.
What makes this so fascinating right out of the gate is how it was made. This album, which is supposed to drop December 5th, 2025, is an AI-generated project.
Yeah, explicitly so. It's human writers and producers working with things like ChatGPT, Meta.ai, and even specialized music tools like Producer.ai.
Which is, well, it's the ultimate paradox, isn't it? You have this high-tech computational process being used to explore the most primal, messy human emotions.
And that's the big question for us today. Can technology actually help us structure and understand that elemental core of transformation?
That is our mission. We're going to unpack the album's lyrical and sonic architecture. It's built along three major veins: fire, storms, and the road. We really want to help you understand this modern myth and what it might say about facing your own necessary destruction.
And the guiding philosophy, the whole thesis of the work, really sets a brutal stage. It's captured in a quote from Janet Fitch: "The phoenix must burn to emerge."
Right, and that immediately shifts the focus from just surviving pain to, well, actively using it.
Exactly.
Okay, so let's get into this architecture. The album frames the journey through three elemental forces. First, you have fire, which is the internal crucible.
Then there are the storms, which act as the external reckoning, the revelation.
And finally, the road, which is all about pilgrimage, wandering, and this really distinct Southern Gothic identity.
We have to start with the fire. That's where the whole alchemical process begins.
And the fire here isn't just a poetic image.
No, not at all. It's treated as the literal place where your identity gets tested and remade. It suggests that real transformation isn't about adding something new. It's about a kind of violent subtraction.
Which completely flips the script on how we usually think about tragedy, especially something like heartbreak. Instead of seeing pain as a failure, the album just insists that this pain is the necessary fuel for transformation.
It's the raw material for a new self. The voice in these songs isn't a victim trying to hide from the heat.
No, she's welcoming it, using it to forge something.
Right. This isn't just surviving the burn. It's about being deliberately shaped by that intensity.
You can feel that in the lyrics. On tracks like Phoenix Mouth, the singer's talking about swallowing fire, having ashes on my tongue, breathing flames. It takes that old phoenix myth and just makes it so visceral, so real.
And that visceral, physical feeling is so crucial because it keeps the music from sounding too abstract. The production notes even talk about drum hits that imitate a heartbeat.
Or strings that shred like heat.
Exactly. It's trying to transfer that internal feeling of being in a crucible directly to you, the listener. The sound itself is supposed to feel hot, painful even.
That's the real trick, isn't it? That sonic transfer. But how close does something like vocal phrasing that sounds like actual breathing through flames get to being, gimmicky?
It's a fine line. But the details suggest they lean into the discomfort. The vocals use distortion and a kind of strained delivery, not as an effect, but to show physical effort.
So when the singer declares in Phoenix Mouth, "I got phoenix in my mouth, ashes on my tongue, you can tear me into pieces, but I ain't ever done."
The arrangement has to earn that. It has to sound like a declaration that was forged in real agony, not some empty boast. It's the sound of lungs literally working through ash.
That makes perfect sense. The music has to make your body believe the defiance. Okay, so if the fire is this internal process of destruction and forging, then the second pillar, the storms and the thunder, that must be the outside world acting on you.
Precisely. The storms are these external forces that compel clarity. I mean, thunder throughout history has always symbolized forces beyond our control. Fate, truth, destiny.
So in this story, the thunder marks these moments of moral reckoning.
And they're sudden, unavoidable, and often purifying.
It kind of elevates your personal drama to this elemental scale. The conflict you're facing isn't just about a bad relationship or some setback. It's part of the natural order of things.
And that's why the storms are called agents of change. They don't just, destroy things. They flood the metaphorical roads and expose everything that was hidden in the dust, Old wounds, family secrets, things you've tried to bury. The storms unearth the truth.
That idea that chaos is a revealer is so powerful, and the album actually invites you, the listener, to treat chaos like a teacher. It calls it being an apprentice in weather literacy.
Yeah, with that lyric, ask the storm where it goes, ask the rain what it knows.
It's telling you to stop trying to hide from the chaos and instead treat it like a source of knowledge.
Right. You have to listen to the chaos if you want to understand what it's trying to strip away from you.
From a production standpoint, though, getting that sound without it just sounding like a cheap sound effect must be tough.
It is. The documentation mentions they weave the thunder into the mix as this ambient presence. They use sub-bass pulses, layered cymbals, distant room mics.
Tape distortion?
Yeah, all of it. It's designed to make the environment feel heavy, pressurized, but not fake. That sub-bass pulse is almost like the slow heartbeat of the change that's coming. It keeps it feeling mythic, but still human.
So you've internalized the fire, you've gotten the revelation from the storm, so the final section has to deal with, well, where do you go from here?
Exactly. And that brings us to the third pillar. The Southern Gothic landscape and the road itself. The album just leans so heavily into that American Southern Gothic tradition.
You mean like decayed grandeur, religious fervor, family secrets?
That whole vibe. And a sense of justice that operates outside the law. It uses archetypes like dust, badlands, crossroads, hellhounds to give the story this really specific, textured, mythic scaffolding.
So it's not just a journey across some anonymous land.
No, it's a journey across a landscape that is loaded with moral baggage. And this cultural texture frames the protagonist as a wandering soul. But her restlessness isn't aimless. The sources define it as a profound ethical decision, a moral choice.
A choice where to stay would be to die inwardly.
Exactly. That's such a powerful line. It suggests that even if you have comfort, if you have stability, if it compromises the truth that the fire and the storm reveal to you, then staying still is a form of self-erasure.
It creates this huge tension for the listener, one we all face. Do you choose comfort or do you choose the difficult, exhausting pursuit of freedom?
And Londerer chooses truth over stability, even if it means sleeping in the dirt.
The album just crystallizes that choice in the song Soul Needs the Road, where she says, my soul needs the road. And then that pivotal line, comfortable ain't the same as free.
That's it. It's an indictment of the status quo that so many of us confuse for real peace.
What's also really sophisticated is how the album treats the environment itself, the landscape, the mesas, the highways. It isn't just a backdrop.
No, it's an observing character. It watches and remembers the narrator's choices.
So the landscape bears witness. It adds this layer of accountability, suggesting that self-reclamation isn't just some internal psychological event. It's tied to the actual geography you move through.
Right. The sources call it a deeper ethical field. Your actions have a memory, and they're tied to the land.
Okay, so let's take these three pillars, the internal fire, the external storm, and the witness journey, and see how they come together in the narrative adaptation when the storm finally spoke her name. This follows our protagonist, Mara.
Right, and at the start of the story, Mara is just. She's surviving. She's not living. She has dimmed her voice to keep the peace in a bad relationship, which is the exact thing the fire is meant to burn away.
Her journey starts as a flight, but she's running towards something, into the desert, ready for a confrontation, and that's where she meets 𝗧𝗓𝗓.
The mysterious guide on the motorcycle, the spirit rider. And 𝗧𝗓𝗓 is not some soft, gentle mentor. She's fierce. She sees the lightning tangled in Mara's blood and challenges her whole idea of her own weakness.
𝗧𝗓𝗓 gives her this core lesson that totally shifts the idea of power. She tells Mara that real power isn't loud or aggressive. It is, and I'm quoting here, what keeps walking when everything inside you wants to fall apart.
It's about quiet endurance, sustained forging, not just a flash of anger. That's a lesson that I think resonates with anyone trying to figure out their own strength.
And that setup makes the climax so effective. The emotional earthquake 𝗧𝗓𝗓 was preparing her for is the storm. It arrives and Mara is kneeling in the chaos, and this is it. The moment of pure, unavoidable reckoning. The thunder speaks her name.
Which is so crucial. The storm, this element of pure truth, finally sees her. It acknowledges her existence, stripped bare of all the comfortable lies. It's catharsis through total exposure.
And in that moment, she makes her declaration, and it brings all three themes together. I am the fire. I am the flood. I am the thunder in my own bones.
She's claiming ownership. She's taking the destructive forces that almost broke her and making them her own.
That line, I am the thunder in my own bones, that's the final synthesis. The chaos outside and the fire inside are no longer threats. They're her power now.
And when she makes that declaration, the storm pulls back. It's satisfied. It only took what she no longer needed, the fear, the dimmed voice. Calder leaves, but she leaves a stone behind, inscribed with one final instruction. Ride what calls you.
So Mara isn't running anymore. She's arriving. And the album's conclusion is so good because it doesn't offer some tidy, neat redemption. It offers a lived promise.
A promise that by enduring those flames and floods, a self can be reclaimed and made fierce and luminous anew. It's an affirmation that the hardest paths lead to the most enduring truths.
This whole deep dive really gives us some useful insights. To recap, let's just go over the 4 big life lessons from the album's structure.
First, pain isn't an obstacle. It's the necessary fuel for transformation. That fire has to burn.
Second, storms don't just destroy, they reveal the truth. You have to learn to listen to the chaos, develop that weather literacy.
Third, restlessness can be a moral choice. Sometimes prioritizing truth and freedom over comfort is the only way to survive inwardly.
And finally, your environment is a witness. The landscape remembers your choices, which roots your actions in the real world.
It's a really compelling modern myth, one created by technology, but it's about timeless, essential human stuff.
So, to leave you with a final thought, if the thunder in your bones is the voice of your own reclaimed power, what deep truth is it telling you right now? What's the one thing you need to finally let burn away in that fire? And what's the very first step you need to take on your new road, knowing that the landscape is watching?